Kyoto Seika University in Japan to connect and to show themselves and to deliver your presentation dedicated to Kyoto, the ancient capital of Japan. So I see now the working team connected to hello everybody. And hello. So the floor now is your dear group from Japan, from Kyoto. Let me first congratulate with all of you, in particular with the president, Professor Osubi Sako Sensei, that we are glad to invite for a short message. Of course, I don't forget also the important coordinating activity of Mr. Manabu Kitawaki, domo arigatou gozaimasu, and also I would like to thank our very, very close friend Oshino Tsuji, that is our representative in Japan. Thank you very much, dear Oshino. This is also thanks to you and your continuous activity of collaboration that we are today the possibility to show the posters of the wonderful city of Kyoto in Florence. So, dear President, Mr. Sako Sensei, thank you very much for the time that you are dedicating, and I am honored to leave the floor to you for a short a message of greeting. Dear Professor Sako, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here with you, and also to be able to express a message for this big event. And then, and my students also are enjoying joining this project. And then for me, this is a beginning of a collaboration between us, and I hope that that collaboration will continue. So unfortunately, we have the COVID-19, which really don't give us opportunity to see each other in live, but I think very soon we can be able to do that. So Kyoto Seika University is always here to welcome any initiative for the Del Bianco Foundation, and then also as a researcher and also as a professor, I was able to give few presentations directly in Florence, and I hope very soon I can be able also to do the same thing. So for the future, I don't know, like, I mean, what Del Bianco also is expecting more about Japan, but we would like to be more involved with more projects, and also if possible, with some Italian students as well, because for us, the globalization in Japan is a way to meet yourself, not about, like, I mean, understanding only about outside, but to be able, you know, as a person, to be able to, you know, meet yourself and be self-critics also. So I want to give that opportunity to many students at Kyoto Seika University. So, and I hope the event will be very successful. And also, I hope my students will give a very good presentation, I'm expecting. I want to put the bar very high for them. And then, you know, I think they have been preparing very well. I'm very confident. And of course, they are the representative of Seika University. So, and then that's also a way to show Seika power. So, ganbatte kudasai, and then hope to meet you guys very soon in person, and enjoy this moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear President. Mr. Professor Sako. And of course, let me share with you our appreciation for the works of your students. Thank you very much, Shannon. Thank you very much, Momoko. Thank you very much, Yuki. Thank you very much, Masakatsu. Sorry. So the floor is yours. Please go on with your presentation. Share your Zoom screen.
All right. Before we start, one of our Masakazu is trying to get into the meeting, but like he needs approval from the host. So if he could get approval from the host, like he could present. Like
Actually, he is in America at the moment, so he's going to join us.
Can you hear my voice?
Okay, now, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
Hi.
all right. So we'll share the screen. 表示でフルスクリーンモード。Oh wait. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll redo the. Okay, hello. So for our presentation, we decided on the topic Kyoto from the student's perspective, since Kyoto City is known for its number of universities concentrated in one city, and 10% of Kyoto City's population is made up of university students. And this is our student introduction. I'm Claire Doe, and I'm a third-year student studying animation at Kyoto Seika University. And I was originally born and raised in the States, but my family and I, we moved to Japan a few years ago. And my current goal is to be able to work in the animation industry in Japan. And my long-term goal is to be able to work in the animation industry in both America and Japan.
Hello, I'm Shannon, younger sister of Claire Doe, which means I'm also from the States, and we moved to Japan 4 years ago. I'm currently a second-year student at Kyoto Seika University studying textiles. I'm very honored to be able to represent Seika and be part of this. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Momoko Hashiguchi. I am third-year student at Kyoto Seika University, majoring in graphic design, and I'm currently preparing to go to the United States to study abroad. In the future, I would like to become a designer who can think about things from multiple perspectives and have a more objective view of my country and myself by looking at the world.
Hi, I'm Yuki Takake, and I didn't write it, but my future dream is to be a fully artist and want to work around the world. And as you can see, I major in animation, same as Claire, and I love cat and love Florence.
Masa, your turn.
Okay. Hello, I'm Masakazu Fukuhara. Please call me Masa. I wrote about the history and the geography in my storytelling. I'm a third-year student in the humanities department. So I'm writing this from the US due to my studies. Now the US is 12:54 a.m. in November 25th. So my dream is to become a navigator for many foreigners who come and have fun in Japan like you. And I want to be one who introduce the history of Japan by improving my English skill. Thank you.
you. And up next, and this, yes, she is a character I made for this storytelling. And as Kyoto is known for its geisha dancers, and the Kamogawa River, which is known for the ducks that live there, I made a character based off of a combination of the two. And she will, yes, and and she will be your guide in this presentation. よろしくお願いします。
Okay. The land of Kyoto is like a natural castle. The Kamo River runs through from the north and is surrounded by mountains from the north, west, and east. In ancient times, this land was chosen as the site for the castle that Japan sought to build as a new nation. This natural castle, which was used to prevent attacks from the enemy, eventually became the capital. Many nobles and merchants gathered in the well-developed town, which also blossomed into a place of learning as monks and samurai gathered. Okay, next page. The history of Kyoto began in the year 794 AD. At that era, the capital was located in Yamato Province, present-day Nara Prefecture. But it was moved to a new location when Emperor Kamu took the reign. The process of relocating the capital was called the Sento. And this location of the capital to Heian-kyo later became the foundation of Kyoto's 1,300-year history. Okay, thank you.
Kyoto is home to many historical buildings. The buildings have been damaged by natural disaster for a long time, as well as natural deterioration, as Japan is known as one of the most disaster-prone countries. Even the 5-story pagodas, the Goju no To, which is famous for its strength against earthquakes, have a case that it was destroyed by a typhoon. Not one historical building in Kyoto has survived the destruction by humans. Thank you. One example is the arson at Kinkakuji Temple. In 1950, an apprentice monk set fire on the temple. Thus, it was repaired in 1955 so that we can enjoy the beauty of the building now. As you can see, repairing is a really important part of inherit how our culture is made. The first facility dedicated to repairing comprehensive cultural properties in Japan was made at Kyoto National Museum in 1980 to keep historical art and buildings as long as humanity needs. Thank you.
Kyoto is a town where one can enjoy kimonos on a daily basis, something that is rarely seen in modern Japan. The reason for this is that the city of Kyoto has historical buildings and climate, a space where Michael lives, and a charm that makes every tourist inspired by the atmosphere want to fit in. The fact that kimonos are loved by many people also means that the traditional techniques of kimono culture are passed on. Among these traditional techniques, there were also craftsmen who worked on kimonos outside of their main occupation, such as the painters known as the Rimpa School. They not only produced foldings, clean paintings, and fun paintings, but also designed kimonos. The kimonos they designed were loved so much that they created a fashion trend which spread not only in Japan but also in the world of Japanism. Kimonos in Kyoto were not only beautiful but also changed the people's lifestyles. When they no longer fit, they were retailored. When they become dirty, they were redyed. Kimonos that can no longer be worn can be reused as bedding or clothes. This custom can be said to be one of the most important ways of thinking in the modern age. And perhaps it is the careful planning based on the traditional techniques of kimono that made it possible.
Now, speaking of kimonos, there's a dyeing technique called the kyoyuzen that was first established right here in Kyoto, and was first made by the painter named Miyazaki Yuzensai during the Edo period. Now, in general, the history of dyeing dates back to the Nara period, and many forms of dyeing have been developed since then. And one example being the batik dyeing, which uses wax to prevent the colors from mixing together. Now, kyoyuzen is traditionally used to dye kimonos, and it includes over 20 steps, such as designing the pattern, the gluing, and most importantly, the dyeing. And usually this process is done by multiple artisans, meaning each step is done by a different person and is passed on from artisan to artisan. Now, the first step is to sketch out the motif for the kimono, which is then outlined by a special type of glue. And this process is called the itome nori. The role of this is to prevent the adjacent colors from mixing with each other, such as in this image, you can see the blue and the brown that doesn't mix because of the itome nori. And then once the glue is set, another paste called gojiru is applied to the whole fabric as base coat so that the application of the dye will become smooth. After all of these basic steps, the dyeing finally begins, and then the dyeing is applied with a fabric. The dyeing is applied on the fabric with a brush, just like when you're painting on a canvas. And the last step is to steam the fabric so that the dye is fixated onto it and will not come off later. And finally, the very last step is to wash the fabric at a local river, such as the Como River that was first presented in the beginning. Now, this is just an example of how young people are starting to turn their interest into natural dyes to make their own clothing and to also help the Earth's environment. And this is an example of how young people are enjoying their own culture and modernizing it. Now, next up is Claire with one of the most popular foods here in Kyoto.
Okay, hello, I'm Claire. Once again, I'm Claire, and I'll be introducing the whole bread culture in Kyoto. And as Kyoto is an ancient capital, many people might think Kyoto is the more traditional or maybe even conservative part of Japan, but in reality, part of its culture is significantly modernized. And Kyoto ranks first when it comes to the consumption of bread and along with coffee. And you may think because of its cultural history, things like green tea might rank first in terms of consumption, but in reality, Kyoto actually ranks 41st when it comes to tea consumption. And because the bread consumption is so high in Kyoto, Kyoto also ranks first in butter and milk consumption. And one reason for its high consumption rate of bread one reason for the high consumption rate dates back to the Meiji era when Japan was undergoing major changes through Western cultures imported from different countries. And during the Meiji era, many Westerners moved to Kobe City, which is located in Hyogo Prefecture. And the Westerners who moved to Kobe, they also brought their baking techniques to Hyogo. And the people from Kyoto, when they visited Kobe City, they learned how to bake bread, and they took it back to Kyoto. And because Kyoto is a city known for its artisans and craftsmen, they quickly incorporated bread into their own culture. And as Kyoto is a home to thousands of university students, the kashpan, which literally means snack bread, it's a popular choice for meals. It's a popular choice for a meal during their busy student life, as it's affordable and a quick meal to have between classes. And today, coincidentally, we also bought bread from the bakery for a quick meal. And these are some of the more popular ones, or the more orthodox bread that we eat. And this one is called the meronpan, or the melon bread. And contrary to popular belief, it is not filled with melon. It just looks like a melon. And this one, it is filled with the chocolate cream. It's called the chokokorone in Japanese. And this is called the yakisoba pan, where you top a bread with the yakisoba noodle, and you eat it like how you eat a hot dog. But unlike the hot dog, the yakisoba bread has lots of carbs. And up next, I'll be introducing the Sanjo Shopping Arcade. And the Sanjo Shopping Arcade is a home to many shops, old and new, and many shops are often family-owned. And it was first established in 1914, and initially it had 72 stores stretching from the Aburano Koji Street to Omiya. And in the present time, the number of shops have increased to 180 stores, and the types of stores have diversified since. And initially, it was more of a market area, but now there are all kinds of shops that specialize in different genre of goods. For example, there's also bakeries, and the bakeries that I just mentioned, and there's also shops that specializes in bicycles, and bicycles is a crucial part in Kyoto life, because many people in Kyoto, they use bicycles is a very important very important choice for transportation. And there's also clothes and food, and even for like food related stores, there's some stores are specialized in meat, and some stores are specialized in fish and vegetables, and it's a very nice place to just stroll. And aside from the stores, it's also a place where many people get together and have fun. And on July, there's this Tanabata festival where the shop owners, they bring out their goods outside to sell directly to passerbys. And there's also booths where you can get like festival foods like the takoyaki and yakisoba. It's the atmosphere during the festival is very lively and very fun, but unfortunately, because of COVID, it's been postponed since. And in conclusion, the Sanjo Shopping Arcade, it's a very important aspect of Kyoto life. And my family also visits the Kyoto Shopping Arcade for grocery shopping. And it supports many families to this day, whether it's providing groceries or providing a place for people to get together. And even in the times of modernization, it will continue to be a very important life here in Kyoto. Thank you very much. And that's it for our presentation. Thank you very much for listening. It's been such an honor for us to be able to represent our university and to present. Thank you. And domo okini.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear friends from Kyoto. I was there 4 times, and thanks to your report, thanks to your storytelling. I relive again the wonderful impressions and atmosphere of Kyoto, the ancient capital of Japan. So I thank you again for your presentation.